Hey guys, so I wanted to come back and do another education video. And today I want to talk about what it's like to work at an ALC or Alternative Learning Center, or as you may know it as an alternative school. And so I work at an alternative school, and that is the school I work at is the only school that I have been professionally employed at as a teacher. And so I worked before at a school as a paraprofessional. In some places, it may be called an EA. Some places it may be called an educational assistant. But as a teacher, I've worked only at the Alternative Learning Center, and I student taught at a typical high school and at an elementary school because in order to get my license, I had to have multiple settings. So I chose and wanted to work at an alternative school because I wanted to work with students at risk. And that is one of typically like the criteria for alternative school. It has to be different than a mainstream school. So it's not a special ed school. Although I'm a special ed teacher, my school is not a special education school. We have students there who have IEPs. Excuse me, I am not flashing y'all. I just came from the gym. We do have students there who are on IEPs. I work with students who are on IEPs, but my school is completely mainstream. So we would push into this to the classrooms to support those students, but it is not a special ed school. So I just wanted to make that clear that that's not what an alternative school is. Some of the main features of my school in particular, is capped at 100 kids. In the past, we were not capped at 100 kids. I actually don't know what our cap was in the past. I think when I started, we maybe had like 150 kids, maybe 160. I don't remember. And we had way more staff there as well. So our staffing has gone down, as well as our enrollment has been capped as well. And so you can come to my school technically from seventh grade all the way up to, we call it grade 14. Some people refer to it as a super senior. Where you can get a high school diploma up until 21. So generally, the kids who come to my school are from about eighth grade all the way up to about 20. Every once in a while, I've only been there once when we've had a seven, or we've only had a seventh grader one time since I've been there, and I've been there like 7 years. And then we don't always get a 21-year-old. You age out at 21, so about 20 kids are like, we almost always have a 20-year-old, but they don't usually always turn 21 there. They probably turn 21, they could turn 21 during that school year, or sometimes depending on how the kid's birthday falls, they could start the school year being 21. But that, I feel like it's rare to get a 21-year-old, but we do. And why do most kids come there? Many kids come there for, well, kids come there for multiple reasons. One is that it's a smaller environment. Some kids come there because their home district has transferred them. Some kids are a referral from some other agency. Could be county, could be probation, could be truancy, could be some sort of mental health service. It could be any agency, and they would refer kids there. Some kids are open enrollment, meaning they just walked in, they heard about it, and they enrolled. We have a daycare center in the building, so many students are parents. Some kids become because they've been bullied. Some kids come because they haven't been kicked out of their school, but they've been kicked out of their school. And the list goes on and on and on. Many kids come because they want to make up credits, although that's like a misnomer, because you don't come, my school is not the type of school you come to and make up credits. But many kids think because they're behind on credits at their typical high school or mainstream high school, they come there to make up credits. And is it for bad kids? No, but it is for students who need a different type of setting. um we go by first names in my school. That's how it was when I went. That's how we do, and I think that's how a lot of alternative schools do. But I could be misspeaking. I don't know. I went to a conference once and that came up, and that was one of the things that came up. Like, we go by first names, do y'all? And not every student does. Some students call me Miss Shalonda. Some students have called me Auntie. And so, yeah. Um, then they earn credits. They get a regular diploma. Some kids leave and go to college from the school. Some kids have hours off for work. Do I feel like kids are any more violent or have any more issues than kids in a mainstream high school? I can't say. I will say that because of the setting, you might find that the kids that we get come with different needs and more extreme needs, because these kids aren't in their mainstream high school for a reason. And so I wouldn't say that like fighting they do a lot. That's not something I think of. I would not say that I see any more drugs than I think that because it's so small, because the staff is so involved, that we can see things that a kid could slip through the cracks from in a 2,000 um, student school, you know? And so ain't too much getting past us because there's only so many places to be. I love it. I love the population. They can be a challenge, but they're also funny as shit. And so when they finish, it always feels so wonderful. And I just love working with kids who, sometimes people think these kids don't deserve it, ain't worth it, don't want to deal with them, don't want to be bothered with them. And sometimes they can work your nerves, but they deserve an education and they deserve people to care about them and love them just like any other kid. And so I would say that if you're not one for dealing with kids from a diverse background, sometimes from a traumatic background, from just what you would consider like, if you don't have the ability to be flexible, to not take things personally, then you don't want to work with kids at risk. I'm only saying that because that ain't the spot for you. But if you have like, if you have the ability to be able to let things, for real, let shit ride, like know when to pick your battles, then you could be an alternative school teacher, because I couldn't really imagine working in any other type of school. So anyway, I just want to come in here quick talk about working in an alternative school, what the student population kind of looks like, and what my school in particular looks like. So anyway, have a good night, y'all.